Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Justine and Priya. Thank you for joining me from your home. We're out at Black Ankle Vineyards. It's one of my favorite places to practice yoga, teach yoga, and then hang out afterwards. This is in Maryland, and it's by far the best winery in Maryland. And today we're working towards a beginner level class, about 30 to 45 minutes, and we're working towards half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. If you have a block, have one handy. And we're going to come to the wall about halfway through the class, so join us there as well. And we'll start seated, so find a comfortable seat. You can sit cross-legged or you can kneel, sit on a block if that helps your hips and your spine to sit upright. Allow your eyes to come to a close. And pausing for a moment to ground and to hit the reset button. And so if you're joining me from home, that means you weren't able to make it to a studio class today. Perhaps you're busy or you just can't get out of the house. Maybe there was a snow day. So allow whatever it is that's going on in your day and your life to fall away. And rather than trying to push your surroundings away, let's instead immerse ourselves in them. And shift your awareness for a moment to your sense of sound. And hear as many sounds as you can. And if your house is chaotic in the background, that's awesome. Hear all of that. And shift your awareness to a sense of smell. Like there's a flower right in front of your nose. Take a sniff, draw that air right up into the top of your nasal passages, and then exhale right back out. And shift your awareness to sense of sight, and without opening your eyes, just notice that you can see a little bit of light filtering through your eyelids, and that creates a display behind your lids. And then shift your awareness to sense of touch and just notice the texture underneath you, whatever floor you're on, whatever mat. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin, sensation of your hands in your lap. And then we'll take 3 rounds of cleansing breath together. Draw a deep breath in, shrug your shoulders up to your ears, make fists, scrunch up a face, hold the breath in, and with an open mouth, sigh it out. Again, inhale. Hold. Sigh it out. Last one, in. Hold. 3, 2, and let it go. Beauty. Let your eyes open. Come forward onto hands and knees. Blessed cloud. All fours, tabletop position. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. We'll start with a couple of cat-cows. Now on your inhalation, lift your tailbone, lift your head. And exhale, round. Push the ground away, widen your shoulder blades. Inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your head. And exhale, round. One more, inhale. And exhale. And then come back through center. We're going to work on a few subtle alignment cues that'll help us find strength and stability in half moon pose. So in your tabletop position, find a neutral spine. And think of lengthening your tailbone to whatever wall is behind you. And then firm your low belly in. And from that position, start to pull with your hands and try to pull your sternum, your chest forward a little bit so you find a long spine. And from there, take a step back with your left leg and press the ball of your left foot down. And when you do that, you'll feel your low belly firm in a little more, core fired up. Lift your left leg up. And so since we have the support of the ground underneath our hands, take a look underneath and see your foot. Make sure that your left big toe is turning straight down. And then your hips are square towards the floor. And again, look forward. Good, firm your navel in. Pull your chest forward. Stretch your right arm forward. Palm facing in like you're shaking someone's hand. And we'll do 3 cat-cow motions here. Inhale, reach long, find a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, round in. Touch elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch forward. And exhale. One more. Inhale, reach. And exhale, curl. And release your knee, your shin down, release your hand down. Other side, take a step back with your right leg. Pause for a moment, press the ball of your right foot down. Feel core muscles engage. Pull with your hands, lengthen your spine, and then float your right leg up. Pause for a moment to see if square hips in your brain aligns with square hips in reality. If you can turn your right big toe straight down, both hip bones point towards the ground, and then look forward. Keep core engaged, stretch your left arm forward, palm facing in. 3 breaths. Inhale, reach long, make it into a little back bend, lift your heel, lift your hand, lift your heart. Exhale, round, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch, forward stretch back, exhale, curl. Last one, inhale, reach long, and exhale. And then release your left hand down, release your right shin down. We're going to take this pose into a little bit of a different direction and open the hips, which is going to mirror what we'll be doing later in half moon pose. Slide your right foot till it's barely off of the mat, and then take a step back with your left leg. And when you look down, you want to see your right knee aligning with the arch of your left foot. Bring your left hand to your hip. Good. Stretch your left arm straight up. Good. And hold here. Before we move, let's find some of the alignment cues that we found in tabletop. And think of lengthening your tailbone towards your left heel. And then draw your low belly in, engaging your core muscles. You'll feel a little more stability. Push the ground away with your right hand. Think of widening your shoulder blades, your collarbones. And then start to lift your left leg up and flex your foot. And so as you notice, your left big toe is still in line with your left hip, just like when we were doing tabletop, but now the right hip is opening up and externally rotating. And think of pushing your right knee, your right shin into the ground, and then lift your left leg a little higher. One more breath, gaze up to your fingertips, and then with your exhale, float your left hand down. Release your left leg down. Beautiful job, ladies. Let's do 3 cat-cows in between just to reset. Inhale, lift your head, lift your tailbone, lift your heart, and then exhale, round. Again, inhale. And exhale. Last one, breath in. And breath out. Good, so other side, extend your left foot barely off the mat. Is this the other side? Yes. What's that?
Right.
Right. Is it right? No, it's left. Slide your left foot barely off the mat, and then take a big step back with your right leg. That's okay. I mix up right and left all the time. Stretch your right arm up. Good. Pause here. Find stability. Lengthen your tailbone down towards your right heel, and then firm low belly in. Push your left hand into the ground, widen your shoulder blades, your collarbones, and then start to float your right leg up. Good. Flex your foot. And then again, think of reaching your tailbone towards your right heel. Push your left shin, left hand into the ground. Get a little longer. Beautiful, Justine. 2 more breaths. 1 more. You might gaze up. And then release your right hand down. Release your right shin down. Come back to all fours. We'll do 3 cat-cows, but this time reverse the breath. So as you lift your head and tailbone, exhale out. And then as you round, inhale. And really feel your shoulder blades spread across your back. Good. 2 more. Exhale, lift your head, lift your tailbone, and inhale, round. 1 more. And inhale. Beauty. Come back through center. Lift your hips up, tuck your toes, find downward facing dog. Any moment you need a rest today, if you need to come into child's pose or tabletop position, feel free. We won't be here too long. Spread your fingers wide and evenly press into the inner and outer edges of your hands. Push with your hands and lift your shoulders up by your ears. And then start to spin your outer arms towards the floor, bringing an external rotation to your arms. Lengthen the sides of your waist as you lift your hips up and back. And then from your outer hips, stretch down towards the floor through your outer heels. Good. Slowly walk your hands back to your feet and come to a fold at the back of your mat. Once you get there, bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and then stretch forward, come all the way up to stand. Release your arms by your side. And we'll do 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A to warm up. We'll do it modified with some cobra, knees, chest, chin, root down through your feet. Feel strong and grounded through your feet. Start to lengthen and lift up through the crown of your head. And before we move, find some of those same alignment cues that we found on the ground. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Firm your low belly in. And then as if you could lift your heart all the way up to the sky, lengthen. Root down through your feet on your inhalation, sweep your arms wide and up. Maybe your palms come together overhead. Exhale, fold forward. And with your inhale, lift up, lengthen, and then step back to plank pose. From plank pose, shift your weight forward. Let's bend the knees first, bring them down. Arch your back like you were doing cow of cat-cow. Lift your tailbone, lift your head, bend your elbows, bring your chest down. And then slowly bring your chin down. Slide all the way through, come down to your belly. Uncurl your feet. We'll do 3 cobras without the hands. Press down through your feet. Lengthen your tailbone again towards your heels. Firm your low belly in, and on your inhalation, pull your chest forward and up. Baby cobra, inhale. And exhale, lower down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up. Float your hands. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, lift up, hold. Press your palms down. Keep your hip bones on the ground. Lift up a little bit higher. High cobra. And then exhale, release all the way to the floor. Press your hips back to your heels. Come to child's pose. And then lift your hips up, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. And from down dog, come onto the balls of your feet. Slowly walk to the front of your mat. Once you get there, bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, stretch all the way up. Maybe your palms come together at the top. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. 2 more like that. Release your arms by your side. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. 1 long exhale all the way down. Fold forward. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Step back, plank pose. You can repeat knees, chest, chin, or if you like, lower your knees down. Shift your weight forward, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Hold, and then lower all the way down to your belly. Press the tops of your feet down. 3 cobras. Inhale, lift up. Maybe it's a baby cobra again. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up, maybe a little higher. And exhale. Last one, breath in. And exhale, release. Press back through child's pose. And then lift up, downward facing dog. And hold 3 breaths in down dog this time. Good. Spread your fingers wide. Lengthen through your arms. Lift your hips up and back. You feel the ground underneath you. You might not be outside with us in nature, but you can feel whatever floor you're on and then foundation underneath. Last breath. And come onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, look forward, walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Root down 1 inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, draw your hands into your heart. Last one, Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Inhale, salute the sun. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, put a little cobra in your chest. And then step back, plank pose. Pause and plank. You might keep your knees lifted this time if you like. Shift your weight forward. Slowly lower all the way down to your belly. 3 cobras. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. And exhale, lower. Again, inhale, lengthen. Stretch your heart up. And exhale. The last one, breath in. And breath out. And press your hips back to your heels. And then come up to downward facing dog. And from down dog, come onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the front of your mat. Good. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then exhale your hands to your heart. We'll do a couple standing poses to warm up the hips, and then we'll take it to the wall for our peak pose, Ardha Chandrasana half moon. Take a big step back with your right leg, and then turn both of your feet to the right. Parallel your feet. Open your feet until they're as wide as your wingspan, as wide as your wrists. And then turn your front toes, your left toes, straight forward towards the front edge of your mat. Turn your back toes, your right toes, just slightly in. And you'll feel your back thigh start to rotate inwards. Bend your left knee. And allow your hips, rather than squaring straight to the side, let your hips turn slightly forward so that they're aiming towards the right corner of your mat. Sink down into Warrior Two. And think of tacking straight down through your left heel. You should feel your left glute firm. Stretch out through your fingertips. And let's work through some of those same alignment cues we've been building through the class. Lengthen your tail straight down, and then firm your navel in. Now start to lift your chest as if you're pulling it up to the sky. Good. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior. And we'll move through a couple of breaths. Inhale, straighten your left leg, bring both hands together overhead. And then exhale, bend your left knee, lower back to Warrior Two. Inhale, lift up, touch, palms. Exhale, lower down. One more, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Good, and start to stretch forward like you're reaching for something. Look down. Revolve your hip bones a little bit further down so that your navel starts to point towards the front edge of your mat. And then slide your left forearm to the top of your thigh. Sweep your right arm straight forward. And start to find a twist. Start to open. Revolve your ribs, your shoulders, your gaze to the side. And if it feels all right, you might look up to the sky, up to the ceiling. And think of finding a long line from your outer right heel as you root down all the way up the side of your leg, and then stretch through your fingertips. 3 breaths. And 2. And then slowly rise up, Warrior Two. And straighten your left leg. Turn both toes back to the center, and we'll move right to the other side. Turn your right toes straight out, and then turn your left toes slightly in. Bend your right knee. Good, right toes straight forward, Justine. Yeah, there you go. And again, instead of squaring your hips completely, allow your right hip to draw back in space and left hip forward so your front hip bones kind of point towards the left corner of your mat. And then from that, finding some of our alignment cues, lengthen your tail down. Justine's already doing a great job of that. Firm your navel in, so core is strong and stabilizing the spine. And then lift your heart like your proud warrior. 2 more breaths here. Tack straight down into the center of your right heel, and then bend a little deeper in your leg. Last breath. And then look forward, reach forward over your leg. Pause for a moment, look down. Start to spin your belly button towards the ground, so you're unsquaring your hips a little more, and then float your right forearm to the top of your thigh. Sweep your left arm straight forward to the front of your mat, and then start to revolve the ribs, sideways, shoulders open. 3 breaths. Stay firm in your foundation and your feet, lengthening through your spine. Last breath. Root down on your inhalation, come all the way up to stand, straighten your right leg, turn your right toes forward. Good. One nice forward fold here, hands to your hips. And you're welcome to take one of these two versions. Priyanka's going to interlace her hands behind her back and find a nice shoulder opening. If you have a strap, you can also grab a strap and do that. And then Justine's going to take the version with her hands at her hips and then bring her hands to the ground when she comes down. Push down into your feet and think of squeezing your feet in. Feel your legs strong and stable. Firm your navel in. Lift through your chest. Inhale. And then with your exhale, fold forward. Justine's going to take her hands straight down to the floor, and if it feels comfortable, she can walk her hands back in line with her heels. For those of you who have tight hamstrings at home, tight inner thighs, you can bend your knees and find a little bit of a modification, allow your spine to hang straight. 3 breaths. Feel the legs strong. 2. And then on 1, root down through your feet. Draw your heart forward. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Good. And I think we're warm enough to come to the wall for our final poses. Go ahead and step to the front of your mat. So if you're at home, we're going to finish at the wall. We'll do a couple poses. And so you can bring your mat with you, or you can keep it where you are and then come back to your mat and finish Shavasana there. So using the wall is a really great way to start to find stability and balance. It might seem too easy for you, but you're going to find pretty quickly that your muscles are going to work. Whenever I teach this version in class, people love it and ask for it again and again. So to get your distance, bring your hands at hip height to the wall, and then keep your hands where they are and start to walk out until you can find an L shape. Your hips are stacked over your legs, your heels, and your hands are straight out in front. This is called puppy pose or down dog at the wall. Good. And for a moment, just allow your chest to melt down through your arms. It's a really nice stretch for the upper back. Good. Push through your hands, lengthen. And then we'll start to take it into a balancing pose. Like we were in cat-cow, let's start to find a neutral spine. Lengthen your tailbone, firm your low belly in, and then lift up a little bit. Draw your right knee into your chest. And then kick your right leg straight back. Finding warrior 3 with your hands at the wall. And Priyanka, you can walk your left foot in a little bit closer. There you go. So now your leg is stacked over your hips. Actually, a little bit closer now. And when you look down, you should see that your heel is straight underneath your hips. Good. And just like we did in the beginning of class, look underneath, spy your right big toe, and then make sure your right big toe is turning straight down. Can you see it? Look down, look down. Yep, turn your right big toe straight down. Oh, it's hard with that shirt, huh? And then roll your outer right hip down. Lift your inner outer left hip up. Good. Push with both hands and start to look forward again. Good. Virabhadrasana 3. Hold. Breathe. And Justine's actually over-rotating a little bit, so you're good right there. So what's really nice at the wall is that you can look back and see if you're actually square. When we're in the center of the room, we think we are and we aren't. Last breath. Good. Lift a little bit right here. And then step together. Pause for a moment. Stand up. Shake it out. Whew. You feel a lot of muscles working in that one, right? Okay. Other side, lean forward, find puppy pose again, down dog at the wall. And allow your chest just to drape down, get a nice stretch into your shoulders, press your hips back. And then start to find neutral spine. Firm your navel in, lengthen your tailbone straight back. Good. Other side, you can just straight down. Right here, yep. Draw your left knee into your chest. And then kick your left foot straight back. And now take a peek. Look down. Spy your left big toe. Watch it turn straight down. And then check to see that both front hip bones are turning towards the ground. Draw your outer left hip down, right hip up, and then kick straight out. Start to look forward again. Push with your arms. Straighten both arms. 3 breaths. You guys look great. Super strong. 2. And then release, bend your left knee, shake it out. Good. All right. Ardha Chandrasana. So to come to Ardha Chandrasana, we'll come through Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, just like we did. And then we're gonna open up. I'll demo this one. So as we come to warrior three, we'll hold, square the hips, and then we'll bring one hand in the center, the other hand on top, and we'll start to open up this way. And you're gonna use the wall to both stabilize and to push off, and find some of the same cues, tailbone lengthening, low belly firming in, and then lengthen your spine. And slowly come back. You guys ready? Okay. Come back to the wall, hands at your hips. Just pause. Yeah, we'll reset all the way down here. Yep. And then start to walk back, find puppy pose. Good. And make sure your legs are directly underneath your hips. You could walk a little bit in, Priyanka. Yeah, and then Justine a teeny bit in as well. Good. We'll come through warrior three. Bend your right knee. And extend your right leg straight back. Good. Pause there. Now look at the wall. Look at the wall. Yeah, bring your left hand right in front of your nose. And then bring your right hand above your left. And start to spin your fingertips towards the left and open your hips to the right. Ardha Chandrasana. Good. Yep. Steer with your right foot. Flex your foot. Good. Root down through your left leg. Feel your left hip externally rotating and opening. Lengthen your tailbone towards your right heel. Good. Firm your low belly in. And then straighten your arms. And if you're looking to the side, try looking up. It's a little scary, but it's very liberating. Last breath. And then slowly come back. Yeah, good. And this is actually harder than doing Ardha Chandrasana in the center of the room because it allows you to find full extension and opening. Great work, guys. Okay, other side. You ready? Yeah, come back to the wall. Puppy pose. Yeah, it's really hard, but it's so good to find strong alignment there. And then walk back, downward facing dog at the wall. Draw your left knee into your chest. And then kick your foot straight back. Good. And now look at the wall. Your right hand's going to come in front of your nose this time. Your left hand's going to come on top. And start to spin your fingertips to the right. Yep. And then turn your left foot open to the left. Left hand on top. Right hand is on the bottom. And then bring your left hand on top. Good. Yep. Start to spin your fingers to the right. And then open your hips to the left. There you go. It's confusing, but once you get it, hips are open. Good. Flex your left foot. Lift it high. Lengthen your tailbone towards your right heel. Firm your navel in. And then straighten your arms. Maybe look up to the sky. 3 breaths. Good. It's really hard. Just come back if you fall. 2. And then release. Good work. I'm glad you fell because I'm sure our friends at home are probably wobbling too, so you make them feel better. Yeah, thank you guys. Good work. Good work. Okay, so let's come back to our mats in the center of the room and we'll stretch out a little bit. Coming into Sukhasana easy pose, you can sit on a block, or if you don't have a block, find a book. Flex your feet. And then rather than crossing at the ankles, cross a little bit tighter. Cross at the shins. And then bring your hands into L shapes. Bring your thumbs to your hip creases, wrap your fingers around the sides, and then push to root your hip bones, your sitting bones down, lift up tall. Hold this long spine, stretch your arms up overhead, inhale. And then with your exhale, start to fold over your legs. Touch your fingertips down to the floor. You might stay right here. You might start to walk your fingertips forward and fold even deeper. 3 breaths. On your inhalation, think of lengthening from the base of your spine. Lift and draw your heart, your chest forward, and exhale, fold. 2 more like that. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Last one, breath in, lengthen, and exhale. Slowly walk your hands back in. Bring them behind you. Swing your legs out in front, windshield wiper. And then switch the cross of your legs. If you're not sure which one you did first, then do your normal cross, because you always do the same side, and then switch to the weird side. And again, make it nice and contained, so crossing at the shins, really small. Flex your feet. Bring your hands into L shape. Thumbs to your hip creases, fingers around the side, root down, inhale, lift up, lengthen. Keep this length in your spine, reach both arms up, one more breath in, and then exhale, fold. Keep your sitting bones rooted as you fold forward. Touch down with your fingertips, stay here. If this is your awkward side, the side you don't use, you're gonna feel a much bigger stretch. Some of you might walk your fingers forward and fold a little deeper. 3 breaths on your inhalation, lengthen through your spine. Pull your sternum forward and exhale, fold. Again, inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Last one, breath in, and breath out. Beauty, walk your hands back in, bring them behind you, swing both legs out in front, windshield wiper, and then bend your knees. Going into reverse tabletop position, make some length in the front of the body and open up the shoulders. Turn your fingers towards your hips. Spread your fingers wide. Bring your feet to hip width distance. Good. Press down through your feet. Press down through your hands. Lift your chest. And then start to lift your hips up. And try to lift your hips so high that you can't see your knees anymore. And then turn your gaze up to the ceiling, to the sky. Press down through the inner edges of your hands. Lift your chest, widen your collarbones. 3 more breaths. 2. And then come all the way down. Walk your hands in. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Pull and use your hands as brakes to slowly lower all the way down to your backs. Good. Bridge pose. Bend your knees. Walk your heels in towards your hips. Arms by your side, palms facing down. Press down through your feet, lift your hips up. If you're feeling like you need more of a rest, you can take a block or a big book, slide it underneath your hips, take restorative bridge. Justine's going to demo that one for us. And if you want to take full bridge, start to walk your shoulders behind you, and you might lace your hands underneath. You press your shoulder heads down into the ground. Lift your chest, lift your chin away from your chest. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Firmly draw your thighs inwards and press down through the inner edges of your feet. And take 3 more breaths here, really emphasizing the breaths in the chest and in the backs of the shoulders for 3, 2, and come onto the balls of your feet, lift your heels. Slide your arms out of the way if they're laced and lower all the way down. And walk your feet wide. Knock your knees left and right. Just a little windshield wiper with your knees. And bring your legs to stillness. Hug your knees into your chest. Bring your arms out into a T. Keep your knees hugging in nice and tight and slowly start to drop your knees off to the right. Spinal twist, Jatari Parivartanasana. Good. Now 3 rounds of candle breath while you're here. Let's exhale all the way out. And then with your inhalation, draw in through your nose. And with your exhalation, blow out a candle. Good, a little slower. Inhale through your nose. 3 to 4 count exhalation, blow out. 1 more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Starting to cool down the nervous system, the mind, the body. Draw your knees back in through center. Hug them in tight towards your ribs. And keep your knees drawing in tight. Stretch your arms back out into a T. And then drop your knees off to the left. Good. And 3 rounds of candle breath again. Let's exhale all the way out. Good. Inhale, fill chest, the shoulders with breath. And then slow 3 count exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale, fill. And slow exhale. Last one, breath in. And breath out. Slowly let your knees come back in. Give them one last squeeze, or you can take happy baby pose. Draw your knees wide, catch the pinky toe edges of your feet. We're doing happy baby. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you can play with stretching both legs out wide or one leg straighten at a time. And when you're ready, release your legs long, Shavasana, final pose. And those of you at home, if you're like me, this is when you're likely to turn off and go back to whatever chores you have to do. But if you can, take these 3 minutes. They are vital. You have the time. You deserve it. Shavasana. The same way we started the practice, only lying down this time. Allow your eyes to close. And become aware of your sense of sound. So shift to your sense of sound. Notice all the sounds in your house, sounds in the room. Shift your awareness to a sense of smell. Like there's a flower right in front of your face. Sniff, draw the breath in, notice. And without opening your eyes, shift your awareness to sense of sight and notice the light that is filtering through your eyelids. Makes a display just for you. And shift your awareness to sense of touch and notice the texture of your mat, the floor, clothing on your skin, temperature of the air. And then notice the shift inward. Notice the spaces that we warmed through the practice. Notice the space and the ease in your hips and your legs. Opening created across the chest. And let this last minute of work be gravity's job. Release all of your muscles and completely let go. And before we move, let's take 3 last breaths together. Exhale all the way out. And then a big energizing inhalation. Fill all the way up. Hold. With an open mouth, sigh it out. And press every drop of air out so you can take an even deeper breath. Inhale, fill. All the way to your fingers, toes, crown of your head. Hold the breath in. And sigh it out. Last one. Press every drop out. Inhale, huge breath. Fill all the way to the edges of your skin. Hold it. Hold it for 3, 2, and then let it go. And start to find some movements. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Make circles with your wrists and ankles. And then stretch your arms out overhead, reach long. Interlace your hands, press your palms towards the back wall, and then draw your knees into your chest. Take a few rocks, and slowly make your way up to a seat. Fold your hands in front of your heart. The light in me honors the light within both of you and all of you. Namaste.